Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fan Battle Cast, where we talk about the matchups that y'all pitch to Death Battle. And today, that new show's been coming out. Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers. I've been enjoying it. How many of y'all have actually seen the show? Of the four of us?
I saw the
Uh,
show. I'll admit the last episode was really confusing in a few places.
I have seen the first 3 episodes. I haven't actually finished it yet. I've
I
just been
I
busy.
only know Guilty Gear from reputation. I've never actually gotten into that
Mm.
I'm a
series.
casual Guilty Gear fan. I was not aware that it was free on Crunchyroll until recently, so I'm gonna catch up
Yeah.
on it after the stream.
For anyone unaware of that, to everyone within the sound of my voice, I would like to announce that not only does Guilty Gear have a new anime that they've been doing, but right now it is free on Crunchyroll. Like, you don't even need an account. You can just go onto Crunchyroll and it's available. I've linked it in the description, like, free Guilty Gear anime, recent. It's a good time. Y'all should check it out. I've been enjoying it. Even if you don't know Guilty Gear, the show's actually a pretty decent introduction because, like, every time the characters show up, like, there's, like, this freeze frame and then they explain who the characters are for, like, 10 seconds. So, like, it's actually pretty good even for a new Guilty Gear fan. Good show. By the way, so since Guilty Gear is semi-relevant right now, we thought now's a great time to talk about the pitch Baiken from Guilty Gear versus Dunban from Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yeah,
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
The franchise itself is called Xenoblade in Japan. Chronicles was added for English, but either way works, you know.
Okay.
we'd be chronicling our Xenoblades, bro.
Gotcha. So all I know about this debate is it's the one with, like, samurai sword wielder, so I've brought a samurai sword.
Yeah.
Dunban's not really a samurai, but that's a connection for sure.
He's close.
It
enough.
is a
It's
connection.
Katana, close
Is it
enough.
a good connection? We don't know, but it is a connection.
I think they both also have one arm.
Well,
Wait,
I'll
Dunban
explain
only
that
has
later.
one arm?
I mean,
Usable arms, I mean, technically.
He still has the
there.
arm.
he
But
he
it's like,
still
you
has
can't
the
use it.
arm, but it's just he can't use it. He's paralyzed in one arm.
Someone's talking about Dunban pronunciation. How are we supposed to pronounce his name?
Dunban.
Dun.
Dunban.
Dunban.
Dun.
Dunban over there.
That's Dunban over there.
He done got banned. Dunban.
Yeah, there you go. You got it now.
Alright.
Hey, and you could call him Dun if you want to be like Ricky, the
The
hero
goat.
one. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this just, we can kind of hop into the debate, more or less. Put this over here. So, Kagra, I'm gonna say you. Wait, I didn't even introduce anyone. I'm so unprofessional.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
you should introduce
I
people.
am Santi Sherm. I'm your host for today, and I will be one of the jury members. And my fellow jury member, Zoro, say hi.
Hi, I'm Zoro. I'm the guy who just comes in here every once in a while and says things.
Yeah, Zoro's a regular. You know him, you love him. One of our debaters today, we have the usual, the phenomenal Kagurabachi. Say hi.
Hello, I am the Kagurabachi, master of all things Megami Tensei related. Do not worry, Dunban fans. You are in safe hands. I will connect Dunban to SMT. He will be outer and instantly win.
But the question is, Kagura. The question is, does Dunban scale to Toneri from Boruto? 'Cause that's
Oh no!
We have not forgotten Kagura.
Oh
because if you can't prove that, you might be in some trouble.
no! Oh, you're right. I might be in some trouble.
And you had to be there. If you know, you know. Watch Itachi versus Aqua.
That was a good debate. That was a good debate despite my mistakes.
And today on their first cast, we have Eon. Say hi.
Hi, my name is Infinition. I am going to be I'm going to be debating for Baiken, and I'm actually the guy who pitched this matchup. So clearly, I know what's what when it comes to your boy and your girl.
Eon
This is my
was
first time. Sorry.
Eon was gracious enough to step up to rep Guilty Gear because I'll be honest, not a whole ton of us are super familiar with the deep lore of that series. Like I'm loosely familiar with like the characters and the vibe. But that doesn't mean I could debate for it. So Eon is providing a very important role today. So thank you for coming today.
Yeah, no problem.
I did find out an interesting fact about Guilty Gear. Actually, it was like inspired by the old manga Bastard, so that's why Guilty Gear's so metal.
Makes sense.
You know,
That's cool.
It's peak.
So I think we can just kind of hop right into the debate. Kagura, you've done this once or twice before, so we're gonna have you go first today. I'm gonna pull up your 60 seconds.
So Dunban. Dunban is a soldier of Colony 9. He is regarded as one of the best fighters there. So good that he was given the chance to wield the Monado, the legendary sword that pretty much almost destroyed the world. He wielded the Monado to fight against these monstrous machines known as the Mechon, who ravage the homes of the Homs in order to like kill them and eat them. So Dunban used his full power of the Monado to defeat all the Mechon and wipe them out. Or at least we thought they were wiped out. That ultimately cost him his arm. And now, years later, Dunban, or rather 1 year actually, Dunban rejoins the fight. And he is him.
He is him.
Yeah, he's
Alright. So after just watching Dual Rulers a little bit, I think I might have noticed maybe a connection. Is there any kind of thematic parallel between the Mechons and the Gears from Guilty Gear? Is that like kind of?
They do be warring with humanity for the most part.
And they were almost taken out by a super weapon.
Well, there's a lot of super weapons in Guilty Gear. You could. Okay, there was like a whole 100-year war. You got Soul Bad Guy. You probably know him.
Heard of him.
He's got like this big super weapon split into like 8 other super weapons, and then there's a bunch of other super weapons all over the place.
Guilty Gear just loves adding super weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. The war is over. All the people trying to like, all the people trying to like do bad shit. They're all chill. They're all living in peace, and that's not to spoil Xenoblade, but that's kind of a common theme between the stories of the series, right?
Well, that's good. Also, small tangent. I have some laundry folded on my bed, like out of view, like past the camera wall. And when I put my sword down, I think I actually put a hole in one of my shirts.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Be careful with swords. Don't play with them. But I'm gonna hold it still because it's cool. But yeah, Eon, it is now your time to shine. What
I don't know if 60 seconds is gonna be enough for this, but
it wasn't. It was. I would barely fixed in Dunban's backstory. If you don't get through everything Baiken can do, don't worry.
Yeah,
if you've got some more to say, we can give you a little extra time.
Has the thing started yet?
How we do it is we start the timer once you start speaking, so there's not like pressure or anything.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Guilty Gear lore. All right. In the year 2187, Gears, effectively artificial humanoids, have waged war with humanity. This was started when Justice, the big blue thing, wiped the country of Japan off the map. The remaining Japanese people have been situated in various colonies around the world since then, until the colony that Baiken lived in was raided by an army of Gears led by that man. She lost a lot of people she loved, an eye, an arm. So she became a wandering samurai in order to seek revenge against that man. A lot of hijinks ensued. She met this guy on Jimito. Totally, he's totally not her boyfriend. They're just besties. Uh, yeah, vengeance has been her whole thing since the start. Until she found this little girl, Delilah, the little sister of this other guy, Badman. Long story. Turns out Baiken decided she saw through Delilah that ultimately revenge. She saw what that did to her and realized that in order to make a better life for Delilah, she needed to give up on revenge. And now, this cute little found family, everybody's happily ever after. I think that's. Oh, I didn't even. Oh, I didn't even talk about like her combat capabilities. My bad. We'll probably get into that later.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
alright.
that we have a debate for that, but just a
Yeah.
quick question. What man are we talking about?
That man.
I mean, there's just the four of us here, man.
Yep.
Okay, we're not going to go through the vote.
Okay,
Batman.
like that man, and it's even crazier than you think because the that man that everyone thought was that man wasn't that man because there was a different guy going by that man.
No, it wasn't that man, it was that man.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was that man.
There's
I'm confused.
there's this man and there's that man. You can get with this man, you can get with that man.
Yeah, that man.
He was not that man.
I
You are
mean,
I
not
gotta
that man.
say, that man was not that man for
Yeah,
doing
those
that
men.
to all those people, man.
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 Man, oh man, let's get. Alright, so I guess to just kind of get an idea, I know Baiken a little bit because I've played the game and seen the show, but I don't know Baiken super thoroughly. And Dunban's just like a big mystery to me. So I guess one of the first things I think would be good to cover is just like, what's the general fighting style of these two? Like when they fight someone, what does it look like? That kind of thing.
Okay. Who you want to go first?
You can go first if you want.
Okay. So Dunban is a swordsman. He fights with a sword. He used to fight with the Monado. He doesn't have the Monado anymore. He actually can't use the Monado because it will kill him. Shulk can though, so that's cool for Shulk, right?
Sweet.
But
Mm.
Dunban instead uses some swords. He has a lot of different types of swords. Some of them have like additional bonus effects, but we don't really. They're not super special like the Monado is, but they're good enough. Some of the swords are good for harming Mechon. Like they can harm Mechon without the Monado's like effects.
Is harming Mechon like an impressive thing? Are they like indestructible normally or something?
Yeah, Mechon cannot be harmed by normal weapons.
Yeah. And even magic will only do half damage, so you either need a special weapon designed to hurt them, or the Monado, which just does that automatically.
Yeah.
So is this like a durability thing, or is this like a vampire? Is this Werewolf Silver kind of situation where they're supernatural resistant, except to a couple of things?
Not
No.
supernaturally, more scientifically resistant. It's
I-
more of a this thing counters that thing rather than.
Hmm.
I
I'd
don't
say
know.
I'd
I'm
say
gonna
it's
let
more or
Kyra.
less the material the Mechon are made of is very, very strong. So
Okay.
it would have to be like Dunban would have to use those weapons or have a Monado enchantment to hurt them normally.
So Dunban has
However,
a really good sword that can cut really good armor robot things.
yeah, he's
Okay.
also a very skilled swordsman in general. Like
Okay.
even before he had the Monado, he was already in the army training, and when he was given the option to wield the Monado, he was already considered like a hero of like the Homs in Colony 9.
Okay.
So Dunban's swordsmanship skills are very legendary.
I do have a question regarding the Monado, just to kind of set the ground rules. Because it seems like the Monado is a big part of Dunban's backstory, but I'm kind
Uh,
of guessing that it's not actually part of the fight, even though he used it somewhat frequently once upon a time.
Yeah, he used it all the time back during the battle at Sword Valley. He doesn't have it anymore. It is the Monado is a part of Dunban's backstory, but it's not something that he should have access to because that now belongs to Shulk.
And
Mm,
even when Dunban used it, he was not able to access like a fraction of the Monado's main powers that Shulk uses. So
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
don't
So
use it because it's arguably not even his most powerful thing, and
it's not.
also the Dunban we're all familiar with, or at least the people who played the game are familiar with. That's not really that Dunban. The Dunban we
Yeah,
know is the one that uses
there's
the.
even like a cutscene in like Satoru Marsh where Shulk asks Dunban, hey Dunban, I'll give you the Monado back. I don't feel like I deserve it." And Dunban's like, "No, Shulk, keep it. It's your sword now."
Mm, okay,
So
And
gotcha,
also,
gotcha.
trying to use the Monado is what like paralyzed his arm in the first place. Like, it's
Mm,
kind of a thing. Only really Shulk can use it effectively.
yeah.
okay.
Um,
So does Dunban have like? He's an RPG character. Does he have like magic spells, or is he just pretty much purely a sword fighter?
he is mostly a sword fighter, but he has arts, which can do a lot of different things, actually.
Okay.
Um, if you pull up arts, I think I have it.
I will pull up art.
Yeah, arts. So arts are in Xenoblade. Arts are basically cooldown abilities that can be repeatedly used. There's no MP bar in Xenoblade. There's just cooldowns, which a character can activate, and then their abilities will activate. And they can cool down very fast, some of them.
Okay.
So just for effects, like Gale Slash is one of Dunban's arts. It inflicts the bleed status effect. So if he uses Gale Slash on someone, they'll slowly start taking damage.
Hmm.
Um, Worldly Slash is a two-hit combo that lowers physical defense and health. No, lowers physical defense and lowers strength, not health. My bad. Spirit Breath removes debuffs and it grants them a haste effect. Blinding Blossom kind of useless in this one because Dumban is fighting alone. Some of
Hmm.
them are kind of useless. But yeah, Electric Gutbuster causes break, and then Steel Strike topples an enemy suffering from break. So
Hmm.
if you're wondering what those do, basically break causes the enemy to lose their stability, and then topple knocks them to the ground, and they stay
Hmm.
on the ground for a repeated amount of time.
Okay. My eyes are drawn to Thunder, which apparently hits enemies behind Dunban with an ether blast. What is an ether blast? That
Oh, Ether is the magic kind of.
so does he have
It's fine.
some like anime style sword slash beam things that he can like attack people with?
Hmm, I'd have to look at the animation of Thunder. I don't think it works that
If I
way, but
if I remember correctly, he doesn't shoot it out of his sword. He just like stomps behind him, and it's just like energy coming out of it.
oh yeah,
He causes an earthquake with the stomp.
It's not like an earthquake, just like a little blast of energy.
yeah,
He
Like,
he just stomps and then lightning drops from the sky.
he's a really good swordsman.
yeah, really
Uh,
good swordsman.
really good
okay.
swordsman. Like I said, uh, Soaring Tempest hits multiple enemies, and Jaws of Death. Basically, if Dunban is close to dying, this will revive him.
Oh,
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm.
that's cool. So he's got the usual like I'm a fantasy swordsman with various abilities that let me kind of
Yeah.
do status effects and other buffs and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and I couldn't screenshot this right, so ignore Minato arts because he doesn't have those anymore. Not that it wouldn't matter, because those Minato arts wouldn't really matter that much.
Hmm. Okay. So what's Baiken bringing to the table in regards to an arsenal? Like, how does Baiken fight?
All right, so Baiken is this like super aggressive swordswoman. Obviously, she's only got the one arm, so it's just like a lot of like super wild over the top slashes. But having one arm doesn't stop her because who needs an arm when you have multiple hidden weapons? I don't know if I've sent those for the I don't know if I sent those for the scans. Yeah, got like this little firework cannon. She's got a little was it like a spiked club on a chain. She's got this other chain that she can like use to bring people in. Specifically like this bell that attaches like a tether to her and her opponent. So you know they're stuck together. It's kind of makes it difficult to kind of makes it difficult for the enemy to escape her. Through magic, she can essentially just summon a tatami mat on the ground and just like kick it up. You can use that as like a wall or something. Like she does that in the anime, but for the most part, it's kind of just like this launcher or if she does it in the air, she can like it like falls to the ground. Extremely versatile technique. She's basically got a gun that shoots. Yeah, there it is. Sorry for the pixels.
This is what Guilty Gear looks like, right?
Yeah, this is Guilty Gear in
Quality
2025.
Guilty Gear image.
Yeah, quality.
Wow, I love the high definition render.
It's beautiful.
I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I was just trying to provide a visual aid and accidentally made a joke. Please continue.
Okay, so she's now a lot of the weird stuff she does, like it mainly tied into her fighting style. I've said she's aggressive, but the main focus of Baiken, like play style wise, is mainly defensive in the sense that her whole thing is like counters and parry follow ups. She's got this little grabs. You got this attack. You got this counter where she just slams you onto the ground. But in the older games, she had this like proper parry stance, or with a bunch of different like follow ups with, say, a projectile. She just leaping slash, backslash. That's a Xenoblade thing too. You know, a lot of similar. So, just a lot of slashing attacks. She can even do that while blocking, like in the really early games. She even has this. Hold up, I actually sent you this thing. It's called listed under Baku, I believe it was. So yeah, there's this follow up right here.
Baiken can do graffiti. What's the big deal?
Yes, she can do graffiti. It's invincible on startup, and there's specific follow ups to that, which can be used for debuffs to like debuff the opponent depending on the button you use. Like one of them prevents the opponent from like jumping or dashing. One of them makes them take counter hit damage. One of them straight up one of them like prevents them from blocking. And then there's a follow up to the follow up which like locks the opponent out of using specific normal attacks. Like usually the one that the one based on the button that Baiken pressed with the follow up. So she's got some stuff.
What is this?
Oh, that's that's I believe it's called Zakuro. It's basically this big like spinning danger wheel thing.
Okay.
It's one of her normal like block follow ups, but she can also use it as like a follow up to Baku. It's the Baku follow up. This is getting a mouthful.
Yeah. Mojo Jojo X in the chat brings up that Baiken is very skilled in swordsmanship because she easily dog walks Nagu Ryuki when they fought in her arcade story, and Nago is an ancient samurai who is quite skilled.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. He's a centuries old like vampire samurai. And when Baiken beats him, Nago just straight up says he can't beat her.
Okay.
Also, what's noted, he also says at one point that he mistakes her for what he calls a weak point divider. Nago's got this ability where you can just like he's got like vampire vision and he can see an opponent's weak spot. Baiken, as far as I know, Baiken doesn't have anything like that. She's just that cracked that he mistook her for having that ability.
Nice. I guess that is like, if we were to debate who between Dunban, let's just assume stats are equal for a second. If we were to just via pure skill, who do we think's more skilled between the two?
Oh, see the thing about equal stats is, as far as I'm aware, Dunban actually has like skills that increase his stats. So if there's equal stats, he just takes stats anyway.
Well, we're just
Correct.
ignoring like stat buffs
Yeah.
and stuff. We're talking like pure skill. Who's got the advantage?
Pure skill.
Uh,
That would be a tough one. I think.
would be-
How old is Baiken?
I don't really know. They do this thing. Sometimes she has that thing that like some women in fighting games do when they list the age in the bio. They're just like, it's a secret, or if you find out, I'll kill you, something like that.
So she's older than 30, probably.
I mean, I want to
Bold
say
words.
30.
Well, I'm
Like-
saying is people who are like 26 usually don't hide that. It's usually not until they get older than their 20s where they start saying that kind of thing.
I'm
Uh,
pretty sure she's older
Oh,
than
hundreds of
30.
years old.
I don't know. If she's
Oh my
under-
god! I don't know if Baiken's that old. She
According to
doesn't look that
Iden
old.
X, the undisputed none of us can dispute them, so they're just factually right. That Baiken is hundreds of years or just 100 years old.
I think that's just assuming. They didn't say that her. They didn't say what her age was. They just said that her village was raided during the Crusades, and the Crusades were like 100 years old. So that just led some people to assume that she's like 100 years old.
I mean,
don't
the
know if
logic makes sense to me.
I mean, I guess it does make sense. I mean, women in fighting games aren't allowed to age for the most part, so I would believe it.
Are we sure Baiken is like immortal?
I don't know if she's immortal, but what she is Japanese.
I
Hear me
actually
out.
do have a question since we're on the topic of it now.
What?
So I'm not too familiar with Guilty Gear lore, but you mentioned that there are gears, so I just want to clarify. Baiken is just a regular person, right? She's not a gear.
She is not a gear.
All right, cool. Just wanted to clarify that just to avoid any anti-mech on gear shenanigans.
But she's not a gear, but she is Japanese, and it is stated within Guilty Gear that like the Japanese are freakishly strong, like in canon. If you're wondering why Mei can just carry a giant anchor over her head and swing it around like it's nothing, it's because she's Japanese. There you go.
Literal anime logic.
Yeah, anime logic.
Anime logic. Well, it is an anime fighting game. I expect that.
So I guess and Lemonade in the chat says that Dunban is 30.
Yeah,
So I think,
Dunban is
like-
30.
Yeah.
I think at the bare minimum, Baiken's either equal to Dunban's age or older.
I
But-
want to say that as of now, Kai Kisk is 30, and I'm pretty sure Baiken is older than him. So
That
prop.
tracks.
Yeah.
So what conclusion are we drawing from this age comparison?
I was trying to figure out because Dunban has been in the military for most of his life, and he is one of the most skilled fighters there. But
Yeah,
if Baiken is older, then I guess by experience rate she would be a bit more skilled.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean,
keep in mind that Baiken is used to fighting in one-on-one matches. Dunban is used to fighting with a team by his back.
Yep.
So I think that shows that Baiken has a bit of an edge when it comes to at least fighting in a one-on-one scenario.
yeah.
Akira Yamaguchi Kitsune says that Baiken is in her 40s or 50s by the end of Strive.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure, she
Alright.
doesn't look like it, but sure.
It does the argument that Baiken has a home field advantage is strong in this. I feel like you could argue that like narratively of Xenoblade, Dunban isn't exclusively fighting in a group fight. But I still think that might be a fair comparison to draw, perhaps.
I want to say that a lot of the like enemies, like the mechon he deals with, most of them are just like big monstrous guys. I don't think he has necessarily that much comparable experience in terms of like guys his size or with similar fighting styles to him. Meanwhile, Baiken, she's a fighting game character. She fights other people. I'm
That
sorry.
is fair. That is fair.
Well,
Something I
Dunban
was
also fought monsters and
I'm-
other people
I mean,
as
yeah,
well.
there's.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got like a lot of weird ass Xenoblade animals. Territorial Rothbard the goat.
something I was
territory robot.
something I was wondering about. It was brought up that Baiken's fighting style is like a counterplay style.
Mhm.
What's like Dunban's role in the party? Like what mechanically does he offer to the team? Is he like DPS? Is he like what's he doing?
He's the dodge tank.
He's dodge tank.
Okay.
Basically, what that means is Dunban's very good at dodging attacks.
Hmm.
Using his superior agility to just dodge attacks, dodge, and then attack, and then dodge and then attack. Like some Xenoblade players are so ridiculous. I'll bring this up as my last argument. They made
Your last argument.
no, later, way later. Yeah, but I'll just say some Xenoblade players are pretty goofy, and they made Dunban into a dodge tank monster.
So how does the ability to dodge really well interact with the ability to counter attacks really well? Like, would we say that like if Dunban attacks and Baiken tries to counter attack, would Dunban be able to dodge that, or do we think Baiken's so good at counter attacking that she would be able to track him down? Based on the fact that Baiken has a chain that can drag people in, I feel like that'd be a good answer to any attempts at dodging.
I'd say that's a pretty notable counter. Not to mention the Baku follow up that just straight up prevents you from like dashing or jumping. I think she has a good few ways to mess with Dunban's mobility.
Okay.
Yeah, it also hurts that the fact that like, yeah, Dunban can dodge all he wants, but at some point he is going to have to force to attack, which will in turn allow Baiken to work in her specialty, countering.
I guess we can talk about
Equipment.
yeah, like does Baiken have any abilities beyond good swordsmanship and the fighting game mechanics?
Aside from, I already mentioned she has like a ton of specific, a ton of those like weapons that like the gun.
Yeah.
And I don't think she has really much in terms of specific abilities necessarily. I think she has some limited control over ki. That's like one of the things that make the Japanese really strong in Guilty Gear is that they're more in tune with ki, which personally I think is kind of weird because Baiken, she only uses it for like one attack, and then the characters in Guilty Gear who use ki the most aren't even Japanese. Like the most, like the biggest ki user is Cliff Anderson. He's from Switzerland.
Okay. So fundamentally, this is just primarily a sword fight at the end of the day. There's not a whole ton of crazy magic attacks or nothing.
Yeah, primarily.
Okay, gotcha.
I do have some other, like I have equipment I want to get into for Dunban.
All right, what equipment is Dunban bringing?
So in Xenoblade, there are these things called gems.
Oh yeah.
And you can equip them to the character. You could sort of think of them a bit like materia, but they give characters special effects if you equip them.
Okay.
So, could you pull up Gems 1?
Gems 1. Oh wow, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Some of these might not be too useful, but Dunban doesn't use a rifle, so heat sink is pretty much worthless.
Okay.
But yeah, he has Arts Heal, which using Arts recovers HP. Recovery up, HP recovered. Aura Heal, Daze Plus increases the duration of a daze. I don't know if Dunban can inflict daze, but if he can, that's cool. But he doesn't have top. Oh.
Yeah, you can use thunder. You can inflict.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Daze. In case you're wondering, Daze, if you're dazed in Xenoblade, the attacks done against you are massively increased. You take more damage.
The
He
aura
has
heal seems very impressive. Just the ability to like auto heal yourself would be very useful in a fight, I feel.
yeah. Could you pull up gems too? Now, for this screenshot, when I screenshotted it, I could not fix this error. Fandom decided to be very
Explore
mad.
series community.
Yeah, Fandom decided to be a little bit of a nuisance and blocked the half of this page.
The Explore series gem of the community type.
No,
Unknown
but
element
I-
maxed in effect.
I know what it says underneath. It's a chill attack, which basically
Wait. You can't pull up a scan that's censored to be like, underneath
Okay,
this
okay.
sensor is
Look,
like the
I
super
tried-
cool
I
thing.
tried- Look, I can give you the link. I'm not lying here. Okay, I am not lying here. If I was trying to lie, I would say, "Oh, this gives the omnipotence orb. Baiken cannot attack him."
The omnipotent orb is underneath this blue bar.
Don't worry, guys. It scales to this meteor. I promise.
Okay.
Alright.
It's not too important. It's not too important. Basically, ice damage.
Okay. Ice
He
damage
has-
is cool.
Poison attack, which could maybe poison Baiken. Bleed attack, of course. But the most important one, I think, here is going to be Spike, which deals spike damage to enemies when attacked. If you don't know what Spike does, basically, anytime you are attacked with Spike on, the enemy is going to receive some damage back.
It's
Ooh.
Steve versus Terrarian all over again.
Yeah.
No.
So Spike, it's pretty annoying to deal with, especially if you're fighting like a monster who has it. But
Mm.
in this case, if Baiken does her usual counterattack, she'll damage Dunban, but in return, she will attain some of that damage.
I know some spike damage in some games can be like pretty crazy, like reflecting 100% of the damage back in some cases. In general, just JRPGs can get pretty crazy with like end game weapons and gear optimized. So this does seem like this could be pretty damning in a one-on-one fight.
In addition, Dunban also has slow, which could inflict slow on Baiken. Bind, which could inflict bind on Baiken. HP steal, which could steal some health from Baiken if she is hit. Paralysis could paralyze Baiken. Physical defense down, that there's a chance that her physical defense could be decreased. First attack plus, only really useful at the start of the battle, to be honest. Not really that useful. And then back attack plus, if I don't know, somehow Dunban gets behind Baiken, increase damage, I guess.
Unfortunately, is Baiken a fighting game character and thus will always be facing Dunban
Yeah, she is.
as like a rule of the universe?
Checkmate, Dunban.
I mean, unless you're Leo Whitefang, you're not going to be facing away from your opponent.
Yeah.
If you want to pull up gems 3s, these are just gems that allow Dunban to resist a lot of stuff.
Did someone mention the White Fang?
Oh no, we're not talking about the White Fang right now.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Away with you.
Ah!
So daze resist, sleep resist, confuse resist, topple resist, lock on resist, pierce resist, bleed defense. And Ironically enough, Dunban does resist instant death, but I don't think Baiken has that.
Well,
Not that I'm
apparently,
aware of,
according to
no.
the comments, Baiken has an instant kill named Gario Tensei, where they
Yeah,
sheath their sword and then do a quick draw to kill them. So I guess
yeah,
this
Oh,
gives them
yeah,
immunity to the quick draw death thing.
yeah. Guilty Gear just has instant kills. God,
oh,
so they're not in Strive. I almost forgot.
yeah.
Oh.
Reduces bleed damage. Physical protect, which activates at the start of a battle, reduces physical damage.
So would this
And
give
yeah,
Dunban protection from like Baiken's like graffiti abilities that like topple people over and make them unable to attack?
yeah, you can argue that. Like if the effect is similar enough, I think you could argue that. Because topple is basically knocking people over and just keeping them on the ground. So you could argue that Dunban could resist that effect with these gems.
So what is this? I see between element and effect that's like max, and then a lot of it says 100%. What does that mean? Does that like your
Uh,
instant death resistance can be all the way up to 100%? Is that what that means?
yeah, it means basically so gems have levels to them. So a level 5 gem is stronger than a level 1 gem.
Yeah.
And I think that is the maximum limit that you have for gems. Is what that's trying to say.
So a strong enough gem can should it make you immune to a certain type of damage?
Mm, I would have to check. I'm not confident enough to say that it would 100% make you immune no matter what.
Also, if I
Uh,
like equip a sleep resist armor, does that just make it so like is that like caffeine? Can I take that instead of coffee and just be like awake and aware the whole day?
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Man, I need some of that in my life.
We all do.
Alright. So this
I feel
seems
like
pretty
I would be-
helpful.
Yeah.
The JRPG items and mechanics are coming in clutch right now.
Yeah, they kind of.
Yeah. So gems are very useful. So, like I said, kind of like materia, slot it in, you know, very good.
Okay.
Yeah, but you only have so many of the gems, right?
Yeah, how many of these can you equip at once?
Depends on Dunban's armor set. I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah,
Like, is there like in Monster Hunter you can equip like 3 gems for your armors? Like, are we working with like 1 or 2? Are we working with like 10? Like, what's the range here?
It's like each armor
Yeah.
set, depending on like what armor piece he has, can hold up to like 1 to 3 gems each, and I believe each character gets like 4 pieces of armor.
Yeah, so
Okay.
4 pieces of armor, and there's 1 to 3 for each set piece.
Hmm. Akira Yamaguchi the Kitsune in the chat says Baiken survived inside of a super high density information field, which would rewrite the fundamental data of most people and kill them.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
resistance that gives Baiken, but that sounds cool.
I think it's. If I have to guess, it's probably. I think that would classify as resisting transmutation or information manipulation. I'm not exactly sure
Is that like,
what
are
that
we
is.
talking like her? Are we talking in like an in lore perspective, like the information of her like? Are we getting like philosophical here, or are we like because she is a video game character, we are manipulating her code? Like, what are we?
Okay. Okay. So I don't know if I brought this up yet. There's this in Guilty Gear. There's this higher dimensional realm called the Backyard. The information density there is like insanely high, enough to grind a normal person to dust. And I'm pretty sure. Okay, hear me out. The evil Pope tried to turn a bunch of Japanese people into like antimatter gear bombs, and get Baiken was never affected by any of that. So who knows if she's immune to that or not? But specifically in Strive, the character Delilah, whose powers come from the Backyard, she's accidentally summoned this massive information sphere around her that was gonna threaten the world, and then Baiken just like walks into it, and she just like minor damage. Like her eye patch breaks. That's all. Like that
Damn.
is like she need like is like you think an information sphere is gonna stop her when she's there to like comfort her I guess daughter.
I suppose not.
Yeah,
So is this like physical damage she is resisting?
I would. I think so. I'm still not entirely sure how that works. Just like
Because based on
Um,
just like the general description, it almost sounds like she's resisting like reality warping a little bit.
to me, it sounded like she resisted like some antimatter effect.
uh, okay. It's I don't think it was necessarily antimatter. It was basic. Okay, the Pope was gonna turn Japanese people into gears that would like use antimatter to explode and like wipe out
Oh,
humanity. Uh, I would have to assume Baiken resisted that. She was never shown to be affected by it.
Okay.
May was like she was the thing that was turning the people into antimatter gears was like it was like a sickness. May got sick, and that was like the early stages of that. I have to assume Baiken
Okay.
resisted it because she was never shown being affected by anything like that. I feel like I'm losing my mind right now.
No, no, what you're saying makes sense. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So, does Baiken have any like weird lore that would give her like interesting resistance and attributes, or we kind of just at this point it's just time to talk about stats?
I think it's stat time.
All right, let's start with like just how strong they are. Like how powerful are these two characters? We can start on like a lower end and kind of work our way up to the more impressive stuff.
Okay. You wanna go first, Kagura?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, jeez, I don't. I don't
Oh,
know.
are you okay with going
After
first?
you,
After
Kagura,
you.
Kagura, you go first.
All right, fine. Well, let's start with a feat that actually happened at the start of the game. It's not the most impressive thing that Dunban. I mean, it is Dunban's like feat, big feat, but it's he scales to other stuff. So you know, beware my power, Dunban's light. Let's
Yeah.
go. So during the beginning of the game, Dunban caused this massive show of light, which illuminated across a lot of different places, and this was calculated to be a small town level. Could you bring up lantern feet, but legit? In case you don't know, the Pokemon Lantern lights up the entire ocean, but you know,
Yes,
yeah,
multiversal lantern.
multiversal lantern.
Multiversal lantern.
But yeah,
All right,
very cool.
all right. So that's pretty
Uh,
good.
is that like a? Do you want me to bring up some more stuff?
Well, someone in the comments said that Baiken was like continental earlier. So like,
Okay.
do we have anything closer to like that like continental planetary scale or?
Yeah, we do.
Because
Could you pull
I'm
up?
just gonna do the plot twist right now. Both of these guys seem to have universal or higher scaling. I'm just trying to like I know like they both also have some smaller feats and that those are like kind of contested. So I'm trying to get like both I'm trying to see what both the low end of the debate and the high end of the debate looks like basically.
Okay.
So like without like getting into like cosmology stuff, what's the strongest stuff Dunban can scale to?
All right. Without cosmology, could you bring up average Gurren Lagann episode?
Oh, topical.
Yeah. So right here is the fight between the Bionis and the Mechonis.
Mm.
It's an incredibly destructive fight, and it was calced to be in the Yodaton ranges. Could you bring up Planet?
Planet. 5B.
Yeah,
Love that. What does that mean again?
that's Planet level on versus Battle Wiki.
Versus battles wiki AP.
Yeah.
5B is planet level. Cool. Just straight normal planet level.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
is
what's the actual feat here? I wasn't 100% sure about that.
the fight between the Bionis and the Mechonis like pretty much shook the world.
Oh, and like the whole planet is shaken from these two guys fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Gotcha,
just their
gotcha.
sheer size would like make that obvious.
Wait,
'Cause
how
they are
big are
really
these
big.
guys?
I don't remember exactly how big they are, but they are
Are they
big
like
enough that normal people can live on them.
oh, they're like so they are the size of like land masses.
They are basically their respective planets.
Their respective planets.
Well, like the entirety of like Homs live on the Bionis, and all the Mechon live on Mechonis. Like they're that
Okay.
big to where they both have their own societies on these Titans.
I could
Yeah.
very easily see this plot line happening in One Piece where like both islands are like actually sentient rock giants and are fighting. Alright. So they're very, very large and their conflict shakes the planet. Someone in chat is wondering why Dunban would scale to this. I'm assuming it's kind of like
Because
they fight the JRPG boss at the end of the game who scales to this or something.
yeah, they fight the JRPG boss who scales to this because they were literally the ones fighting in this.
What?
Are you care about Xenoblade spoilers or not?
To anyone watching this, Xenoblade spoilers. All right, pop off. What's going on here?
Okay. Zanza is the Bionis, and he is fighting the Mechonis. And Zanza is the main bad guy who all the party fight against at the end of the game.
Okay.
And
So
considering
okay, gotcha. So Dunban somewhat downscales from Zanza, who is just equal to one of these two guys who can shake the planet.
no, he is one of these two guys.
Yeah, he is one of these two guys. All right. Okay. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's Baiken bringing to the table AP wise that's not cosmology related?
Okay, hear me out. This might sound ridiculous, but hear me out. All right,
I'm
in
hearing
Guilty Gear XX plus R, in Baiken's story mode route, she fights a duplicate of the character Justice. I believe I've sent a Justice, as you know, wiped out all of Japan, completely vaporized it. I sent you a calc for that feat. Could you bring that up, please? You're not gonna believe this because like that is fucking at bare minimum. Somehow the country level destruction was counted like 100 and nearly 120 ronatons. That's like nearly star level. I have no idea how it got that high. Like there's another feat for where she like scales to the information sphere I told you about earlier, the Delilah feat. That was calc lower than this. That was moon level. This is like nearly star level. Now it is stated in the game that the clone of Justice is weaker than the original, but like the guy says it's weaker than the original but stronger than you'd think. Even if the clone heavily downskills from this level of power, like 1% of 1%, that would still be notably higher than the Bionis and Mechonis fight.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I sound like
No. You're making sense. I'm just like, I just want to bring up some of these other images you sent there, like context. So like this is who's this person on the right?
That is Crow. He is a member of the Post-War Administration Bureau, and he's been creating a bunch of clones of Justice just for the hell of it.
Okay.
Why not create a duplicate of the being that nearly wiped out humanity? Why not?
Okay. So this Justice clone is really strong.
Yeah, because the original Justice was cloned. The
I'd
original
expect nothing less from a Japanese person. That's a quote. That's a quote.
That is a very quote. That is a very wild quote out of context.
Again, crazy Japanese strength.
All right, such hidden strength. That's what Boomstick says at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Now this is
Such hidden
apparently the
strength.
feat that is large planet to star level.
I think that's like the first time we've actually seen it actually like visualized. This is like the best I could find for that.
Okay.
Wait. Speaking of feats, there's actually one thing I wanted to ask Kagura.
Yeah.
There was like a lower end feat in Xenoblade. At one point, there's this like big explosion that destroys Igniritha. I've been trying to find a calc for that feat, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Did you get anything for that?
Oh no, I haven't found anything for the Ignirifa explosion. I
Oh
tried
my
my best, but I could not find anything for that.
Oh,
Nobody
yeah.
calced that, it seems.
Yeah.
That explosion could have been impressive, or maybe not. But
Could have been
nobody
galaxy
calced it.
level.
Galaxy
Maybe it
level.
was. Maybe it was galaxy level.
Outer Versal Igniritha explosion.
Very true.
I'm impressed they were able to calc something to outer versal. I'm not sure how you even do that.
Okay.
I've done the math, and this is actually bigger than infinity. Actually,
It's bigger than infinity. No, no biggies. It's just
Bigger than Infinity Eon.
all of those pixels are spatial dimensions.
Each individual pixel is its own dimension.
Very true. Absolute
Okay.
truth.
So from me actually reading the full calc, it seems like this is just due to the fact about how radiation works is why it's such a big number.
I think so. Yeah.
There's some real science going on in this calc that I'm not sure. You know, I'll put this calc in the chat and they can determine
brain
what they want
hurts.
for their own. But I'll believe it.
I mean, this isn't even like the cosmology shit yet, so probably not even
Yeah.
gonna matter in the end.
We haven't gotten to the cosmology
But
yet.
if you're a
Yeah.
cosmology denier, it would seem to me that Baiken has, on the low ends, Baiken has a sizable AP advantage if you're a cosmology denier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So do we want to move on to speed, or do we want to move on to
Um,
cosmology scaling
Actually, let's
first?
go into speed because cosmology is going to take a while to explain.
Mhm.
Alright, we can save the cosmology for like the final big argument. How are these two looking for speed?
Do you want to go first this time?
I'm interested to see what you would find for specific speed arguments for Xenoblade.
All right.
Sorry.
Kagura is not happy about being the big dog in
Yeah.
this fight.
All right. Yeah. Fine.
Alright.
Fine.
Kagura's used to being the underdog. He's like, I gotta take the lead now.
No,
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I'll take the lead. Fine. So
First debate in the party.
Xenoblade has multiple faster than Lightning, stuff. They dodge Lightning bolts. And they have light speed stuff too. They dodge light.
Nice.
But the biggest speed feat comes from near the end of the game. The characters are like reacting to the universe creation.
Oh,
Damn.
Could you pull up Sonic the Hedgehog? Xenoblade characters are like 97 quad C.
Jesus.
that's pretty fast.
What?
Because they saw the universe being created?
No, they reacted to the speed of the universe.
Boy, can you go into more depth on what it means to
Oh my
react
God.
to the speed? Did they dodge the Big Bang? What's going on here?
There is a universe recreating thing that the final boss did, and they reacted to it.
It's
And
just
they're
like
able to
Kratos.
fight the final boss.
Okay, fighting the final boss might be valid scaling, but I want more information on what it means that they reacted to the universe being created. Because I can react to, like, a sun blowing up, but that doesn't mean anything.
All right, the ether explosion caused the. I wish I should show you the full video for context, because it does show it. Um,
If I type in this YouTube link in the scan, will I see the creation of the universe?
yeah, you will,
Alright.
because Xenoblade has a very explicit universe thing.
All right, I'll type in this calc while you explain what's going on.
Pull it up.
Well, don't wait for me.
No. Okay, fine. Basically, the final boss does this huge universe thing where, like, the universe is created. The universe radiance is about 46.5 billion light years. The characters can react at those speeds because they can react to the final boss who's attacking them at those speeds. Thus, they are reacting to 97 quad C.
All right, so this is a 9-minute video. Do we know if this happens close to the beginning or the end?
Starts at 9 minutes.
Oh, at 9 minutes. So this is at the very end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can share my screen real quick. Real professional. We're gonna see some real professional screen stuff happening. Hang on. I'm a professional.
Professional and battle.
I'm a professional. Everyone, relax. No, not Discord. Don't want to stream that.
He was playing with a katana and only poked one hole in his shirt.
Yeah, I
He
only.
knows what he's doing.
Okay, hang on. Hang on. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay, it's on screen.
Yep, there it is.
Let me mute it so that it doesn't ruin the sound quality. We are at exactly 9 minutes. We're gonna go back to here where it looks like this is getting started.
Yeah.
Hey, Shulk.
Oh yeah, Shulk.
A world with no. Is this the feat you're talking about, where Shulk makes a world with no gods?
Well,
Yep.
yeah. And they beat the final boss.
So this
with
is the
this.
universe creation reaction feat you're referring to?
Yeah.
So they
Alright, so
That's
Shulk
pretty,
makes a world with no gods.
Yeah, and this I have to specify. Shulk has the same power of Zanza as this in this scene. And
Alright,
creates the
Okay.
universe.
how are they reacting to it? It's just happening.
Well, the speed of the attack during the boss fight with Zanza. Zanza does this move a whole lot. When he creates the universe. Do you remember when all that spatial stuff?
Well, now y'all are seeing my YouTube recommendation. I hope nothing too,
Oh.
too
Have you watched-
suspicious
actually-
pops up.
Sherm, have you watched Simone versus Kyle?
I have, yes.
Yeah, it's peak, right?
So peak.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find a scene of him attacking with this universe creation thing.
Yeah.
Ever
The
since
boss fight
Kyle
thing.
versus Simon came out, everyone's been on the debunking cosmology train, so we're just continuing that trend, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's somewhere around.
potentially either light speed or quadrillions of times faster than light, depending on how this universe creation feat works.
I will say I do think this is legitimate. All right, I run this by a couple of people in like the Death Battle Discord. They said, yeah, this is accurate.
Oh, okay.
All right. So at least he has sources backing him up this time.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he has sources. He has said that he has sources backing him up,
I do.
which means that he has sources backing him up.
Do you have names willing to be attached to this?
Call to the stand. One.
Oh my god.
We're just being a little hard on you because it's funny. I'm sure that this is a potential line of scaling. I just wish we had a concrete number or
Alright,
a concrete scene that shows the quadrillions of times faster than light feet. So potentially light speed or I can't find a scene of Zanza creating the universe. I'm sorry.
Man, all right.
So there's the potential for universal creation feat speed.
Yeah. Uh, there was a couple other stuff, but I didn't include them for speed because I thought they were a little iffy.
Are they?
But I know the quad C stuff is good for
Okay.
sure.
So, yes, you do see Smosh. I'm a fan of Smosh, particularly old OG Smosh games. If anyone
That's Smosh.
remembers Lasercorn, Jovenshire, Sohinki, and Mari, comment in the comments. I love those guys. Anyway, so yeah, potentially Lightspeed, potentially quadrillions of times faster than light. Two good metas. What what is Baiken working with in terms of speed?
Okay, so lower end, I think she is around light speed. There's a lot of like that's the lower end. There's a bunch of she's comparable to Johnny, who is stated to move his sword at light speed. The character Faust can throw black holes for one of his item tosses, and I believe being able to escape those is also light speed, that sort of thing. I will admit, I'll admit the fastest calculable speed feat I've been able to find for Baiken is, I'll admit it's slower than that. Could you bring up the Jacko thing I sent you?
The Jacko thing. I'd also like to point out that like Lightspeed isn't even like impressive to us power scalers anymore. Like both y'all said like there's Lightspeed stuff, and we didn't even ask for proof. We were like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone has.
Yeah.
Someone has a Lightspeed attack, and everyone scales to it. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm trying to find the Jacko feat. What
Pretty crazy. Like if you showed a nuclear bomb to a normal
Lightspeed
person,
Johnny
they would
sword?
be
Is
like,
that what you're referring to?
No. It's I believe it was. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, I will elaborate on
Let me
that
see if I
further. Power
let me see if
scalers
I
are
can-
not impressed by nuclear bombs.
Yeah,
Like,
we are not.
nuclear-
Yeah, we are.
Just
Uh,
count them.
Oh wait. Okay. I didn't.
Town
Oh,
bomb.
okay. I forgot to send the. Okay. I didn't actually. Damn it! I forgot the. Okay. I
Just
forgot
like Jacko,
to
you
actually
forgot.
send the. Yeah, I'm like Jacko.
Yeah.
I forgot. All right. Her instant. She's been right. Baiken has been shown fighting on par with Jacko. Her instant kill in Exard has her little goober minion. Wait, if you like, I could just see if I can get an image right now and send that. Or is that not allowed?
I mean, you can certainly try. Just see if you can talk and search at the same time, I guess.
Okay, so in Exard, her instant kill, her little goober minion guys, they throw her into another galaxy, and then she rider kicks back to the Earth in the span of like a few seconds. That feat, hold up, I got the thing there. That feat is, I believe that was calculated like 200 trillion times faster than light. So notably slower than the Zanza thing there. However, that's only if you look at the calculable speed feats, because Guilty Gear, I believe, has arguments for just straight up immeasurable speed. Now, if I said the backyard, right, higher dimensional space, it is a space that exists above space and time, and there's this other place called the Underworld Hill that exists within the backyard that does not exist within linear space and time. And Baiken can compare characters like Soul Bad Guy, Sin Kisk, who she can also keep up with, have been able to move within the backyard. And Nagoriyuki, I believe there was something. I believe I sent you something about Nagoriyuki. Happy Chaos, the Batman guy, the guy who discovered the backyard, has stated that Nagoriyuki straight up, demi-humans like Nagoriyuki and Slayer are straight up stated to transcend time, and Nago's body can be used as like a portal to alternate timelines. I don't entirely know how that works, but that's apparently how Ino survives at the end of Strive. Spoilers for the ending of Strive, I guess.
Demi-humans transcend genetics, physics, and even time itself.
Yes, they do, and that's how Happy Chaos survives just being killed at the end of Strive. He's killed. He's in another if I remember correctly, he's in like another timeline, and then he finds like an alternate version, like a product of the backyard version of Nagoriyuki, and uses him as like a tether to enter the main timeline again. Did any of that make any sense? Because I don't.
So a little bit. I'm a little confused, but I think I'm getting the gist of it. So there's two kind of higher speed meta arguments here. One is them being able to travel through the backyard, which has like weird size things going on. But then there's also just them existing beyond time itself, which is a little shakier to me because I feel like that could mean a lot of different things beyond just having infinite speed. But
he also says he transcends genetics. I have no idea what that means, but yeah, he does.
That's what Mr. Sinister says in Marvel Comics.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister, he's
that is a very Mr. Sinister thing to say.
Yeah.
So they can go through the backyard, which is like very big.
Yeah, it's bigger than the universe.
Does
like
any of the characters like go through the entire backyard or something? Like what? Well, just be like. I'm just trying to figure out why like the backyard being big means people scale to it speed wise.
It's being I believe it's a place. It is a hut. All right, hear me out. There's this other place in the backyard called Underworld Hill, which does not exist within linear space and time. I've been told that I've seen conflicting reports. It's either below the backyard or exists within it. So like just being able. It has no physical orientation. Even time is transcendental. The space exists within the backyard. Sorry. I'm just. My brain is mush right now. Like being able.
Guilty Gear secretly just the plot of the Backyardigans? Aiden X asks.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. The backyard.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the strangest thing I've heard today, in regards to this series.
Yeah.
The most logical thing I've heard about this all day.
Also, furthermore, talking about us being just completely nonchalant about impressive things, Eon just mentioned that characters in Guilty Gear can kick each other to different galaxies, and none of us batted an eye. You were like, yeah, okay. Good to know. Yeah. Log that down.
As someone already familiar with Guilty Gear, I kind of expected this inconstant
Death Star
cosmic feat, so I'm already kind of numb to it.
All right.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Alright. So there's a couple of things you sent me about the backyard. There's like this one that says the backyard has infinite possibilities. The backyard has higher dimensional status. The world cannot exist without the backyard. Is this all cosmology arguments, or would any of this help with speed? Like... Okay, we'll leave that for 5-10 minutes from now then. Alright, so potential infinite speed, maybe.
Yeah.
Alright. So, speed seems interestingly debatable for this one. It seems like maybe they're both light speed at a lower end, and that would just kind of make them similar depending on how much upscaling there is. Knowing JRPGs, it's possible Dunban would be faster if light speed's the only meta, because JRPGs can like level up and get stronger and stronger. Whereas fighting game characters are normally like at that standard level for the most part. But then we have the potentially kicking across the different galaxies and the universe creation scaling, which would give Dunban the edge if we buy both those metas. And then there's just the potential of Baiken being infinite, which... I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure which of these metas I fully buy, but there's definitely some debate between what is the way to go. No, don't. This is the point of the cast. You're doing everything correctly.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. Yeah, this is your first cast, but you're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. This is just a lot of stuff that is just hard to understand.
I'm not trying to nitpick you. I'm just literally saying out loud the process is going through my brain right now. So do we have anything else we want to touch on for speed, or is that kind of where we're settling for the most part?
I think I'm settling for that.
Yeah, I'm settled.
All right. So now the time for the big boy arguments. Whose cosmology is bigger, and why do they scale to it? Kagura, you've been first for everything else. Why stop now?
All right, cool.
No, I can go first.
So, you want to go first?
Oh, Eon.
I lied.
What? Don't you- what?
Okay, I'll go. Okay, I'll go.
Okay,
All right.
sure.
All right. So, all right. So, Guilty Gear, you've got the universe, right?
You've got the
I believe
universe.
it's. Yeah, we have.
I feel like I should open up Paint and try to draw whatever you're saying as you're describing it, like a graph.
Okay. There. Okay. There's the all right. There's there's the universe, right? There's infinite timelines.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm. There's above that, all of that is the backyard, a higher dimensional space that determines the laws of physics and how the universe. All right. And that's the universe. Yeah, your universe.
And then infinite timelines.
Timelines. Above all of that is the backyard, a higher dimensional space that exists that determines the laws of physics. It determines the basically think of the universe as a game. The backyard is like the engine, the code that writes the game, basically. Within the backyard, there is again Underworld Hill, a place that does not exist in linear space and time. It's within the backyard, there's like infinite possibilities, infinite. Basically, there's a possibility where the Big Bang didn't happen, a possibility where the
Would these
where the Big
possibilities
Bang
be
shit
within the
perfectly.
backyard, or would these be within the infinite timelines?
Some of them are within. I think the infinite timeline. I think they're within the backyard. There's like
Well, they're within the
backyard is
backyard, but like, because everything's within the backyard, it would seem.
Everything's
just 'cause it's
within
so
the backyard.
big. Okay.
I believe. Okay, I was going to go on a dimensional tiering rant and say that because there was Happy Chaos said the Nagoriyuki exists, he transcends genetics, and there's this there are articles saying how the human brain can like fucking and, sorry.
Your brain sounds like it's frying in real time, trying to explain
Yeah.
Guilty Gear cosmology.
I think he said one thing about infinite dimensions, but I don't know if that necessarily translates to outerversal. It could very well be one of those situations where people use dimension as a shorthand for universe. Maybe it's outerversal. Maybe it's I don't know. He said they transcend genetics. There's like pseudoscience articles about how the brain can process information in 11 dimensions. I don't know what that means. But then I remembered, oh yeah, there is a stage in Guilty Gear Strive called 12-dimensional flux observatory. So I guess 12-dimensional at least, and the backyard should be above that. It's just it's a stage. Like it's a stage called 12-dimensional flux observatory. Like what do you want me to what do you want me to
That is what it says on the label.
So
Why does the 12th dimensional flux observatory look like the Wild West spider mech?
Because it's Potemkin's stage.
It's
Oh,
because
okay.
it is actually canonically lowered in Spider-Man. That's why.
Yes,
Oh,
Spider-Man.
yes.
Spider-Man is
scales
12
above this.
That sounds
Yes.
about. He did fight Fire Lord, so you might be onto something.
I feel like Nick Kramer right now. Like
With way throwback. This is a
Yeah.
very Nick Kramer themed matchup because he really likes Baiken. He put her on the top 10 samurai list. and he is scared of Guilty Gear.
Well,
Yeah.
so why are they playing Chip's theme though?
Why are they playing Chip's theme?
Chip's theme. I feel like they should replace that with a better song.
Yeah, because this okay, the scan I took here was like at the start of the game. There were only 15 characters. Like we didn't have Happy Chaos's theme yet. We didn't
Okay, so
There-
that makes sense. But
like
then they should replace it with Kai's theme because Kai's theme is actually awesome. I like
yeah, it's a grid.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Kai's got one of the best themes.
So I'm not gonna ask you for proof on this just because it feels like we'll be here for an hour if we try to get sources for every single aspect. But taking your word for it, it seems like Guilty Gear is a video game series with infinite timelines, infinite possibilities. That's like an infinite multiverse, basically. But
Basically.
also, there's higher dimensional arguments, and the
Yeah.
backyard would be beyond those infinite dimensional arguments.
Yeah.
So that's a good place for the cosmology. Pretty good stuff. Why does Baiken scale to this cosmology, if possible?
Well, you see, Baiken. All right, Baiken in Plus R, she beat the crap out of Eno. You're probably gonna be hearing a lot about her in a future cast. Let's just say.
Mojo Jojo X was saying Eno scaling. Here we go. So
All right, so yeah, she beats up Eno. In an alternate timeline, she straight up murders her and becomes a serial killer. Eno is basically okay. So she's this like extra. She's a magical foci. If you don't know what that is, you don't need to know. What's important is that she had like half of her power removed, and with her full power, she's stated to fully. Yeah, that is a wild quote out of context.
I feel like you could say like, you should be like, this should be like you bitch after that would like really help sell it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Baiken is a circle. Holy crap.
What's wrong, Liz? You're
Yeah.
somewhere crying.
Alternate
little bitch.
timeline.
Like that's what that
Alternate-
feels like. That's the
alternate
vibe of that
timeline.
sentence.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
all right. It's an alternate timeline. It's non-canon, but like the main timeline, she still does beat Eno. So
I will
think-
say this does have the same. This just feels like just a line that said after you beat your friend in verses. Like this doesn't feel like a story segment. This is like, what does Baiken say when they defeat Ino? Here is the statement. It doesn't feel like a story or anything. But that's just because this is out of context. This could be also Ino's outfit is wild. I'm just now seeing this.
Yeah,
Off topic.
yeah.
Wait, please continue.
Yeah, you should see Baiken in like the later games. She's yeah. Let's just say Baiken fans have a certain reputation recently.
Oh dear.
Ah, I see.
let's
Zoro
just say-
sounds like someone who's just done some Google searching.
yeah.
Very
but-
true.
Yeah,
Let's just-
this is yeah. Okay.
I'll
Your
let
search
my-
history is ruined, Zoro.
It was
Don't
for
worry,
research,
okay.
I swear.
Incognito mode when I have to search these feeds.
Okay.
Beats.
Okay.
Not
so
the feed I was talking about, Kagura. Get the fuck out of here.
all right. Okay. All right.
So I know scales to affecting the backyard is what I'm getting from
all right.
this.
With she has like half with her full power, she can like completely collapse the backyard. She spends like most
Oh.
of the series. At this point, she's only got like half of her power. But even with half of her power, she can contend with Soul Bad Guy. Soul Bad Guy, you've probably heard of him. He's a big deal. He like destroyed this cube, which could like completely control the backyard. And in Strive, who constantly spends the whole story mode giving Soul trouble? Nagoriyuki, the guy who straight up admitted he couldn't beat Baiken.
Okay.
Am I getting too?
So wait, Noriyuki. What did Noriyuki do? I'm sorry, my brain is a little fried right now. What?
Basically, he was like he like bitched out Soul for most of the story mode.
Okay.
Like for context, he's like Happy Chaos has him like under mind control to like fight Soul, and Nago resisting that control is the only reason Soul can even beat him.
So Soul Bad Guy and Ino both have feats of either destroying or affecting the backyard. and Baiken just has good scaling to those characters.
Like, yeah, but like, even downscaling from that is crazy. But you could argue she hasn't scaled it fully, but even downscaling from that, I'll just be quiet now.
You're just done. I do see his higher dimensional scan. I just want to check what this says real quick.
I do appreciate your passion.
Your passion is recognized, sir.
Yeah, it was a really cool matchup. I wouldn't have paid I wouldn't have paid to pitch it if it wasn't.
I wish I gotten a chance to pitch a matchup, so I would have definitely pitched a cool one.
Yeah, we love Akuma.
No, not a cool one. A cool one.
Yeah.
So the backyard, from what I'm seeing, seems very big.
Yes, very big.
Can Dunban slice the backyard in half with his really cool sword?
I'll try to argue to see if he can. All right.
Very cool if he could.
Okay, time to bust out the SM.
You gotta sound more confident in that, Kagura. You gotta
Yeah.
hell yeah,
All
you can, obviously.
Come on.
All right, fine. I'll
Here's
bring
that
out
voice.
So, first of all, as y'all guys obviously know, there's the universe feat from Xenoblade 1.
We love the universe.
Yeah, the universe feat. But did you know that they were actually? You saw it. You saw what's the universe feat?
Creating the universe. Okay.
What's the universe feat? Oh my god.
We were too slow to react to it. What do you want from us?
Yeah. I didn't know the universe was created. I was too slow to acknowledge that the feat exists.
So,
all right, so
did you know that there were 2 universes actually?
Oh.
So could you pull up 2 universes?
I will pull up 2 universes, and my meta will rise exponentially.
Are we getting a multiversal Dunban argument?
All right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have to after everything Baiken does, you know.
Yeah.
So these are 2 universes, I'm assuming.
Yes, those are 2 universes. That's the universe of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2 merging together.
Oh. Okay.
That's proof that there are multiple universes. Let me see something else. I know I got something somewhere. Give me a moment. I'm just looking through my scans. I'm trying to find something.
I actually scale to all these scans personally, by the way.
Yeah, reality over fiction.
Oh my god. Very true, very true. So, could you bring up larger time and space?
Larger time and space.
Oh, I should have probably did beyond time and space before this. But whatever, it's the same thing.
All right.
Each entry in the Xenoblade Chronicles has depicted a single episode within a larger flow of time and space. If you're wondering where this is coming from, this is from an interview from Takahashi, the creator of Xenoblade.
Takahashi's vision.
Where he is referring to Xenoblade as a larger time and space. So, what this could mean is that there are multiple universes, such as Bionis and Alres, that are existing in a larger space-time, which would mean that the flow of those universes are simply parts of the flow of a greater multiverse. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Circumstantial. How does Dunban scale?
Do you want me to? All right. I have to explain some other stuff before we get to why Dunban scales.
I will say this doesn't sound all that earth-shattering to me. All that it's saying is like, by the way, these 2 universes exist within a continuity, and like that's all this is saying to my ears.
Okay. I'll have to bring in other stuff then.
I feel like I'm being harsh on you, but it's just because
I understand.
Xenoblade is confusing.
Xenoblade is confusing because there not much research has been done on it.
But
So
they're confusing for complete opposite reasons. Guilty Gear is confusing because there's way too much detail, and Xenoblade's confusing because it's really vague.
Yeah. Just yeah, this is a thing.
yeah,
Bye.
What does that mean?
what does that mean?
All right.
What does that mean?
So there's a larger time space, potentially.
Yeah, and if you bring up beyond time and space,
That's Saturn.
that is Saturn. But this is memory space actually, which is a thing that's beyond space and time. If you don't know what memory space is the dimension that was created by Zanza. Or was it created by Alvis? Either one of those two, I think.
Okay.
It says right here it is beyond space and time. So being beyond space and time would mean that would mean that this would be beyond the universe by default.
Fair. So there's a memory. All right, so I'll bring the paint back up again. So we've got a multiple universes. And then there's the larger time space. And then there's also the memory space, which is outside of all of it.
Yeah.
All right. So, wait, I'm drawing in paint, but no one can see me.
If you need additional evidence for the shared Xeno multiverse, could you pull that up?
Oh, yeah. I will pull up the evidence for that.
The Xenosaga scaling, right?
No.
What'd you call the scan? Additional evidence for shared universe.
This is from Xenoblade X, the remastered.
He was a certified genius, obsessed with studying the ultimate matter, the conduit.
The conduit. This is going to be important.
From
the conduit.
Wait, is this definitive edition? Is that the new?
Yeah, that's definitive edition. Yeah,
bro, I haven't even gone that far yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Spoiler alert: Dunban's cracked.
Yeah.
All right, so the conduit is directly mentioned in Xenoblade X Definitive Edition.
Nice.
And the conduit is an important part of the Xenoblade story for Xenoblades 1, 2, and 3. Because it's explained that the conduit is what made them so strong, specifically Zanza and the Architect, and why all the universal shit happens in the first place is because of the conduit. The conduit is this object from a higher dimensional realm, which gives people godlike powers, basically. You know, universe recreation nonsense and other stuff.
Okay. So we have the conduit is from a place beyond time and space, similar to the memory thing.
It's beyond the memory space too.
Oh, it's beyond the memory space.
Yeah, because the Zanza could not get any more power from the conduit because the conduit left, and the Architect actually, I think, it was the Architect. The Architect and Zanza are both the same beings, a bit different, mostly because the Architect's not a dick, but you know, whatever.
Okay.
But the conduit is beyond memory space because the conduit is just on a higher dimensional place.
Okay. So we've got the universes. We've got the bigger universes. Memory space and then conduit outside of that memory space.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to be generous, memory space is like 4D and conduit is like 5D. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yeah, if we want to be generous, 5D.
Okay. Well, I guess
All right.
memories, if we consider time 4D, then memories would be 5D for being outside time and space. And then conduit would be 6D by that logic?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Xenoblades, like the I will let you know that the architect has a cosmic awareness. He can actually perceive what's happening in memory space, despite the fact that he's in a different universe. This
Okay.
we know this because if you played Xenoblade 2 near the end, Shulk is heard through the voice through the architect. The architect senses the upcoming demise of Zanza, and if Zanza dies, so will he. So that's why he's telling Rex to hurry up and go beat Malos because I won't be able to be around long enough otherwise.
Wait, I think we might have skipped a step.
Miles McCoy.
Why does Dunban and well, I assume it's because of scaling to Zanza. Why does Zanza scale to the conduit?
Because he draws power from the conduit itself.
I mean, that's cool. I don't know if that
Yeah.
necessarily implies straight up 1-to-1 scaling, but maybe are you saying that because he's drawing power to the conduit, he would at least scale to the memory sphere?
He would at the very minimum be at memory space at the memory space level, yes.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think. Because a character can, like, draw power from a planet, but that doesn't necessarily make them planet level, so I'm just kind of trying
Well, they're
to...
able to utilize the power of the conduit in like its full potential, right?
It's
So
full potential?
well, maybe, but they're able to use most of it, right? I think this.
I like how you're asking right as if any of us know anything about this.
But, all right.
I'll be honest, I am completely lost.
I mean, yeah, it's confusing to explain. All right, that's the thing.
I think you're doing a good job, but that we're not trying to nitpick you. We're just coping. We're trying to wrap our minds around this very complicated concept, and I think you're doing a decent job at describing it. It's just a lot, is all.
Mm-hmm.
So he draws power
Yeah.
from the conduit, which might mean he scales to the conduit a little bit.
Yeah, at the very least, he might downscale. At the very least, right?
Okay.
Also, another thing to note, we'll get into that later.
How much later do
Actually,
we have? I feel like we're kind of at our...
No, fine. I'll get into the Xenosaga stuff now.
Alright, what is the Xenosaga stuff?
So, Xenosaga is a game series created by Takahashi before he made Xenoblade. And there are Xenosaga and Xenoblade. Could you bring up the Xenosaga mentioned? This is at the end of Xenoblade's 3 DLC. The character Dimitri is mentioned. Dimitri is not a character in Xenoblade 3 or in any of the Xenoblade games. Dimitri is a character from Xenosaga.
Still amazed they were able to get away with that.
So this proves that Xenosaga is also a part of this multiverse.
Okay.
If that's not convincing enough, there's also the fact that the conduit is very similar to an object known as the Zohar.
Hey.
Could you bring up Zohar 2?
Zohar 2.
The Zohar and the conduit are pretty similar enough to where you could argue that they are the same thing. They're basically an art. Huh?
I mean, yeah, the conduit is basically just like the copyright-free Zohar, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Zohar and the conduit are both artifacts that have insane amount of dimensional energies, higher dimensional phenomenon if you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm beginning to
Which-
understand how the higher dimensional Xenoblade scaling works.
Yeah.
So the bad guy basically has this battery, and this battery is like a fourth dimensional universe. But it's actually might be even bigger than that because it should be on the memory space, which is already a fourth dimensional universe.
Yeah.
So the battery is like a
And
5D battery that gives him 5D power.
But I'm not done yet explaining what Xenosaga is.
All right, then go off.
There's this universe chart thing. Could you bring up Dominios? There is the upper domains and the lower domains that we could say. I'm a bit hesitant to say that. I'll save that for later, actually. But
What later is there? What are you waiting for?
when I'm done explain. All right, it's confusing to explain these.
All
things.
right, I apologize. Continue where you were.
But that's a chart, a little chart for you guys to understand. Could you bring up higher dimensional?
This chart didn't explain anything, but okay. Higher dimensional.
Oh my god!
Off we
It's
go.
showing you. It's showing you everything. Fine.
Well, it's showing me everything, but I don't know how to read the words that they're saying. All right, dimensional universe.
Yeah. If you take this to the absolute maximum, this is 12D. Yes.
Corresponding to each of the present the real number to my eighth dimension. So we just jumped to eighth dimension. So we just jumped to eighth dimensional in this imaginary number domain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based off stuff in Xenosaga, which will take way too long to explain. I'm really trying my best, but I can't explain all of this in like a short amount of time.
This time is the same concept of dimension universe. That was 10D, and then there's the second layer of the upper domain giving 2 more dimensions, which is 12th dimensional.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
If you take it to its absolute max, you could get 12D.
Okay.
Nice.
Hang on. Okay, hang on. Wait. Hang on.
I said
Okay.
this is a lot to explain. I'm really sorry.
I finally grasped the concept, and then you dropped like a whole nother textbook of things to understand. Okay, so how does this relate to the 5-dimensional battery Zanza has access to?
Well, the Zohar is a really powerful thing, and the Zohar would be like somewhere above everything else. So if you took it to its maximum, you could get it to 10D. I mean 12D, I meant.
I mean, it seems like the only thing, based on this one-sentence description of the upper domain second layer, is the only thing that scales to is the will of the universe itself. Does the 5D battery scale above the will of the universe?
The will of the universe. Maybe. I am not sure. I am not sure. That's all I have to say. Because
That probably scales.
probably does. If you're generous, yes.
Okay. So I think So this is from what is it? One game called Xenosaga.
It's a game series. It's
A
not
game
just
series
one.
called Xeno. How many games are in the Xenosaga series?
Three games.
Just like Xenoblade.
Yeah, Xenosaga.
Okay, so let me see if I can summarize what we've just discovered. So there's a really cool swordsman named Dunban. He has a sword. It's really cool. He fights this character named Zanza, and Zanza, in a sequel to the game he's in, has a battery that is essentially a higher dimension. But then it's revealed in the prequel series that's canon that the battery is not only 5-dimensional, it's actually 12-dimensional potentially. So in order to fully scale Dunban, you need to understand both the entire Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy as well as the previous Xenosaga trilogy.
Well, the Xeno game series are. Oh my god. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys.
Wait.
Uh,
I think we can save a lot of headache if I just ask one question.
Yeah.
Isn't the only reason why they were able to stand up to Zanza in the first place is because Shulk got a new special Monado that gave everyone else super Monado enchantments?
Nope.
So in one-on-one scenario,
Nope.
Dunban doesn't even scale to regular Zanza.
Nope.
Damn.
Because
No.
everybody can fight Zanza on. They're not stronger than them, but they can fight and hurt him. Shulk included.
Okay.
They were able to box him
being
up, but they
able to
couldn't
fight and
win
hurt
until
doesn't
they got
mean-
the buff.
Yeah, they couldn't kill him until they got the third Monado buff.
I mean, it means a little bit.
that-
Like, if you're unless you're infinitely weaker, then you would still somewhat scale to this stuff.
You would still somewhat scale if you managed to hurt them even a little bit. Okay.
I know. I'm just bringing this up just because it is not as 1-to-1 as you're making it out to be.
I think it's still indicative of something at the very least.
Oh yeah, it's indicative of something.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put the record straight. It's like it's not 100% scale, but the arguments can be made.
Okay.
My head hurts.
All right. Do we want to move on to final arguments, or do we have something more we want to talk about?
I don't know.
I heard
No
that
more,
you could,
please.
I heard that you could argue for like outer Xenosaga, but I'm not too certain about that, so I'm not going to touch on that. But it's something to
All
note
right.
for all of you.
Just keep in mind the Happy
Alright.
Chaos said infinite dimension, so that's okay. I'll stop. I'll stop.
I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna say we do our final arguments now, which is where like we give you a chance to speak on anything you want to speak on, as I put up the poll in the chat.
Do you want to give out your final arguments first, or do you want me to do it? The me who is always first.
Wait. Hey! I'll let you go. Hey! I went first this time.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. What do I say?
Oh, why does Baiken win?
Baiken wins because she's I'm sorry. Baiken wins because she scales higher. She's faster. She's got ways. She can force the evasion character to stop moving. That what more do you want me to say? 12-dimensional flux observatory. There you go, Burr.
Okay.
I don't even, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize for anything. This debate has been amazing.
All right. Yeah.
Alright, Kager, why does Dunban win?
Could you pull up the strat while I explain why Dunban wins?
Alright, I'll pull up the strat.
The strat.
Wait, is this topple locking?
So basically, in case you don't know what this is, I'll explain it really fast before I get to final arguments for Dunban. This is the naked Dunban strategy. Basically, some Xenoblade players are just so cracked at the game. They have Dunban with no armor, and they're still able to make him extremely deadly.
That's like he has like skills that increase his evasion when he's like not wearing clothes, right? We're not Dragon Ball rules.
I see Dunban's fans also have a reputation.
Yeah, they do.
So it would seem.
It would seem. Anyways, why I think Dunban wins. I think that this is an interesting debate because it really depends on what you personally interpret. But if you,
I will say, I think your strat is working because the numbers are slowly going in your favor for Dunban.
Oh no!
yeah,
Oh no!
Dunban
Oh,
is
Oh no!
All right, so Dunban has a lot of potential stuff that could really mess with Baiken. The gems in particular are gonna be a issue for her. I
I
don't
don't.
see I don't see how she has a way around the spike damage, because if she attacks, she's gonna receive that damage back.
Oh, she just
And
hits really hard.
and not to mention, Dunban has Jaws of Death, which allows him to survive fatal blows.
Yeah, Guilty Gear's a
And
two-round game. It's
and
round one, round two.
and if you include Xenosaga, Dunban would be able to match all of Baiken's arguments, or at the very least, somehow match like the general AP. I think it's said that most people have Guilty Gear at 5D. So if you include Xenosaga, he could get way above that. And as well as that, in terms of speed, Dunban finite ends. He completely speed blitzes Baiken with finite ends, and if you go, there are infinite arguments if you want to take it there as well.
Maybe.
Mm.
I didn't argue
Potential infinite speed arguments, potentially, not exactly, but the same as Baiken.
Wait, the arguments. I wasn't arguing infinite speed. It was immeasurable, wasn't it?
I think you were arguing infinite, weren't you?
He was
Yeah,
arguing
I am
both.
infinite. I mean, I argue infinite.
Yeah.
I will say this might be the
man.
first meme win for the fan battle cast, because Baiken had like 90% of the vote until you brought up the strat, and now it's like 45-55.
Oh no.
We've never had the memes actually win before. They've never actually affected the poll, but this is
Wait, did
the
Dunban
first
win?
notable. It's Baiken is barely winning by like 1 vote right now.
Oh no.
Wow.
I wish I had memes.
Thank you, guys. The strat is working.
Strat for the first time your silly art has actually influenced the poll. Okay.
I mean, he's giving the audience the smolder.
I think
All right.
if there's one thing we can agree about this matchup, it's that they should kiss.
Okay.
Oh, you're one of those
Okay.
Death Battle fans.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
Okay. Alright, so I guess I'll give my verdict now.
Yeah.
Alright, so this one is interesting. I mean, if we just go with like if the stats are similar at all, it's tricky because I think Baiken's like fighting style is superior to Dunban's fighting style in the 1v1. Just, I think she's more skilled in the 1v1, and I think her chain would really mess up his evasion fighting style. I think Dunban's crystals make up for that, though, by giving him, like, some really tricky, like... I think, like, the fighting game mechanics are inferior to, like, the JRPG mechanics overall. Which I think would give him the edge if their stats are just equal, even though it's really close. I think the issue is Baiken is way stronger no matter what. Like, if you go finite ends, Baiken's like star level versus planet level. If you go like the cosmology, if you use the highest interpretations, both have 12th dimensional stuff, but Baiken scales to the backyard, which is beyond the 12th dimension, theoretically. And even with, like, the limited number of stuff, it seems like they're either always equivalent, or Baiken is a step ahead. In terms of speed, I hate to say, I don't know if speed even really matters in this fight, if Baiken's just way too strong. Because, like, if Dunban gets hit once, it's probably just over. I think I have to give it to Baiken because Guilty Gear has a more comprehensive cosmology. I think Guilty Gear's cosmology is just a lot more blatant, whereas Xenoblade requires a lot of like stapling and higher interpretations to match it. So I think I think it is weirdly close and debatable. Perhaps maybe a blog that comes out in the future at some point could give more information. But
No,
without saying that, I think right now, I think Baiken's got it.
All right, that's understandable.
thank
Alright.
you.
What about you, Zoro?
All right, so I'm kind of in a similar boat because, like, if we're looking at it as, like, looking outside of, like, the multiversal cosmology thing, I do lean towards Dunban because I think his gems do counteract a lot of Baiken's tricks. And even though she has a bit more experience in fighting one-on-one, Dunban also has like experience as a soldier, so I don't think that would make up too difference. But with the sheer cosmology of things, like Baiken clearly scales to the backyard, allowing for that, but Dunban, you have to jump through the hoops and connect several obscure things to possibly scale to some things, but not really concretely, as it could be partial scaling or full scaling. Like, there's just too many vague connections to really build a solid argument. So I will also be casting my vote for Baiken on this one.
I will say, before you make your final vote, Lemonade has brought up a very important factor, which is that Goku is canon to Guilty Gear, and is fact load bearing in Strive, which means that Baiken beats Goku.
Of course.
That leak was insane.
Good point. I'm still voting Baiken though.
Yeah. All right. I guess with that, I will end the chat poll, which has Dunban winning by 57%.
Oh,
What?
Yes.
Wait, really?
Yes, that is my victory. That is my victory.
I got cooked.
Yes, you got cooked.
Yeah, the chat gave you the meme win, but unfortunately, the two jury members disagree with the chat on this one. So
Yes, I'm glad. This is a good outcome.
Hang on, this is all that matters. There we go.
This is all that mattered.
Wait, what?
This is all the chat really needs to see at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, with all that, I think the matchup's pretty interesting debate-wise. Y'all brought up some interesting stuff. I think, like, the Xenosaga seems less legitimate to me, but it could be possible.
There are some things about Xenosaga I forgot to elaborate on. In the Xenoblade X remaster, supposedly they're bringing back some concepts like the collective unconscious, which is not a concept that Xenoblade dealt with before, except for like maybe in 3.
Yeah, I don't think.
But it's like there's some arguments for sure. I'm not saying that it's completely valid, no matter what. I'm just saying there are arguments that the two franchises are indeed connected. And then there's the very blatant reference to Xenosaga at the end of Xenoblade 3 DLC, which
and Cosmos.
Another cosmology shenanigans.
It seems to me that Guilty Gear's cosmology is more blatantly high and has multiple interpretations ranging from just like baseline higher dimensional to like all the way up to infinite dimensional. But I think Xenosaga could potentially... There's a possibility space for Xenosaga to be competitive.
It's possible.
The way I heard it a lot is that Guilty Gear's cosmology supposedly... I've heard a lot in the Death Battle Discord server. 5D is the max you can get for Guilty Gear.
Yeah, but like 12-dimensional flux observatory.
I think that might just be the name of the stage, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but why would they call it that?
Maybe it just sounds cool.
The reality where all time and space is the backyard. Why is the main villain called That Man? And why are there two That Men?
Oh, well, you see, the first That Man was a war criminal. The second that man wanted to do a little trolling, so he committed his own war crimes. And
Apparently, our stream is buffering.
Really?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I think that's the 12th dimensional influx we're talking about.
Yeah.
yeah, 12
How do you know that the 12th dimensional stuff relates to spatial dimensions? What if it's not even relating to spatial dimensions at all?
It's just a shape, the 12th dimensional shape.
Yeah, 12 dimension. 12
So
Yeah.
there's a
If it's 12
possibility.
dimensional,
There's a
it would be
possibility chat
fluxing.
might not be able to hear us anymore.
Uh-oh.
I mean, they're still
Uh-oh.
commenting, so I don't know if I assume we're not just frozen, or else someone would have said something by now. But YouTube's sending me a lot of warnings and errors, so this is
Very-
perhaps we should wrap it up so we don't
Yeah.
lose too much of this.
I will say, I think if you include the Xenosaga stuff, this is a really debatable matchup. Outside of that, the best you could get for Xenoblade is like multiversal. That's about it. Which isn't enough for Guilty Gear, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's not right.
So yeah, with that said, normally we like to give the pitcher a chance to talk about what they love about the matchup, but we'll save that for the post show so we can end the stream and salvage what we've done so far. And we will we'll talk about that after the stream, and we might not do a post show, but if we do, y'all will see it later. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been a great stream. Everyone say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you can still hear us.
Put Raven in Strive.
OBS
That's
is
it.
not responding.
Uh-oh, bad.
Believe in the OBS that believes in you.
Believe in the OBS that believes in you!
I don't even know if we're still live anymore.